How's it going, you guys? Ben here, and today we're going to be going over 5 lesser known Vietnamese foods that you gotta try. So, if you guys don't know me personally, I just want to let you guys know that I'm a huge foodie and I love going out and eating all different kinds of foods, especially international foods that we don't get to eat often. And one of the more famous international foods that are buzzing right now, or have been buzzing for a while, is Vietnamese food. But today we're going to be focusing on some lesser known dishes that I think are absolutely delicious and that everybody who loves Vietnamese food needs to try. And hopefully your neighborhood Vietnamese restaurant serves them. If not, I will be linking down to this to recipes down below so you can make it at home. And before we get started with the list, I just want to let you guys know that my pronunciation isn't as good. So whatever I'm pronouncing is probably not accurate. So just don't give me hate in the comments. I didn't learn Vietnamese, but I'm gonna try, and you guys can make fun of me, but just don't be mean. So the first dish on the list is something called bo co. Probably butchered that, even though it's a pretty simple word, but it technically is the equivalent of beef stew, but in Vietnam. So the recipe calls for traditional beef stew items that we actually make in the Western world, like stew beef, absolutely delicious, carrots, potatoes, or any other vegetables like celery that you can add to it. And the difference between Western beef stew and bo co is that there are more aromatic flavors incorporated onto the dish. There are things like star anise, lemongrass, ginger, and lots of other herbs and vegetables that are incorporated to the dish that just make it taste much more fresher and gives a bit of a kick to the dish than the traditional Western variant. So you actually prepare it very similar to how you would beef stew. And just letting you know, beef stew is absolutely delicious, but this just adds a completely different dimension to it. You slow simmer that delicious broth with that tender meat, and in the end, when you bite into it, the meat will just fall apart in your mouth, and it's heavenly. Number 2, and this I can confirm, most Vietnamese restaurants actually do serve it. It's called bún bò Huế. It's another noodle soup dish similar to pho, but I think bún bò Huế is 10 times better than pho. And you know, there is a bit of bias because I love spicy broth-based soups, and bún bò Huế is spicy noodle soup. And one of the other differences from pho, its sibling, is that the noodles tend to be a bit more thicker than the one in pho. And not gonna lie to you guys, you can dump a whole gallon of hot oil into pho and the flavor will come nothing compared to bún bò Huế. So give it a try the next time you go to a Vietnamese restaurant. So the third dish on my list, it's called bún bò Nam Bo, and it's a vermicelli noodle dish that doesn't include broth. So it's a dry dish, which means it's a little bit healthier, maybe not as much as a salad, but it's healthier. It's basically vermicelli noodles that are not in a broth, in a bowl. On top of it is some delicious grilled beef with peanuts and bean sprouts to add an extra crunch aspect to it, topped off with some delicious herbs, overall making the dish into a great blend of textures, flavors, and aromaticity. Dish number 4, it's called CANH. It's another broth-based noodle dish, but it's different from the traditional pho and bún bò Huế, which I've talked previously about, because it is a tomato-based and crab-based noodle soup that also incorporates water spinach. So the noodles are thicker, just like bún bò Huế, but it also includes pieces of minced crab. With the broth, there is an addition of tomato, and it just adds some different seafoody flavors to it that you don't get in traditional noodle soups from your average Vietnamese restaurant. And of course, it originated in northern Vietnam, similar to another popular crab noodle dish. I believe, I don't remember the name of it, but from what I've heard, that this dish is much more lighter than the other dish. And finally, for number 5, I have the dish, and I forgot the name, so let me look real quick. Bánh cuốn, and it's a rice dish with it's made out of rice batter with our cut into wide thin strips. It's very similar to thick rice noodles, but technically not. It's much softer. It's also more chewy. And what you also do is incorporate minced pieces of other foods within it. So the traditional is you would do scallions and ground pork. Since I don't eat pork, I tend to get the one with minced shrimp. And I haven't seen this dish featured in any of the Vietnamese restaurants I've been at, but my mom and I, we do go to a Vietnamese supermarket that actually does have it, and we love to get it because by itself it's a pretty bland dish. It does have some really good flavors, but it really shines when you add dipping sauces to it. And if you look up this dish, you would see that most people do eat it with a dipping sauce. My mom and I, we make our special dipping sauce, which is not very traditional, but it's absolutely delicious. We incorporate Worcestershire sauce, ponzu, and chili garlic sauce to it. And like once you dip it and put it in your mouth, it's salty, delicious umami goodness with a little bit of sweetness. So there you have it. Those are 5 lesser known Vietnamese dishes that you need to go out and try or even make at home. I hope this video has helped you guys, informed you. Please follow me in my other videos. I'd love to be a part of your life. Subscribe, share, comment down below if you have any ideas on new videos I should make, and I'll see you on the next one.